Hello, everybody, and welcome to the RV Atlas. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Stephanie.
And we are the authors of See You at the Campground. So you're going to want to pick up a copy of this. It's filled with all of our best camping tips. And today we are talking 14 tips for camping at Walt Disney World's Fort Wilderness. We've gone to
Very exciting topic.
We've gone 3 years in a row to Fort Wilderness. We've had an absolute blast. We've made really magical memories there. And it's a difficult campground to navigate for your first time, more so than your typical campground.
Well, Disney is like no other place really on Earth, and Fort Wilderness is like no other campground on Earth, I think. It's a very different kind of a situation. And Jeremy has been a Disney fanatic his entire life. But I very reluctantly was dragged on our first Disney family vacation a few years ago.
Kicking and screaming.
I was not happy. I went along with the ride, let's just say. And at the end of the day, it was honestly a magical experience.
And we convinced you to go back the
And
next
again,
year and to
and
go back again.
and again.
And we'll keep going back.
So I do think it has magic.
After 3 years of camping at Fort Wilderness, these are the 14 things we really think you need to know to kind of plan your own awesome, magical trip.
Yes. Now, we have done a lot of really in-depth Fort Wilderness content on our podcast, The RV Atlas, over on our website, thervatlas.com. If you put in Fort Wilderness, if you put in Disney, you're going to get a lot of really in-depth information. But today we're just going to kind of give any newbies the highlights. You ready to go?
First thing you've got to know, first tip, you can book a site 499 days in advance. Which we know
and
that's...
you have to.
You kind of have to. We know that's kind of crazy because a lot of you don't know what you'll be doing over a year from now.
Make a best guess.
Now, we have always booked 1 year in advance, and we've done okay with that. But that's actually a little dicey when it comes to Fort Wilderness.
We go during a downtime. Generally, it's a quiet time, so we can get luckier with
Let's
that.
say when?
Yeah, in January,
We go
mid-January.
mid-January. It's not as crowded, and then we book for the next year. So we've done okay. But if you want to go during a more popular time, Halloween, Thanksgiving,
Christmas, oh my goodness.
Times when lots of kids are on their vacations, you got to go the full $499 to book. So
now,
you got to plan in
can't
advance.
book online 499 days in advance. You have to call and book. Once you're at 365 days in advance, then the online booking opens up and you can do it all online. Okay, what's the second tip?
Second tip is you cannot reserve a specific loop or site, but you can request a specific
Real
loop or site.
nicely. Say please.
You're going to want to put it in the notes. So when you make your reservation, you're going to ask the cast member to put it in the notes for you. 3 years in a row, we have been able to get the loop we requested.
We love, yeah.
Again, we're not going at the busiest time of year.
Right.
So take a good look at the map. Decide what area you want to be in. For instance, we love to be near what's the area called the Meadows. The big pool is there, the camp store is there, transportation is there, Chippendales, campfires. It's a bit of a hub.
It's a hub, and we like to be a little bit in the action when we're there, so we're not going too far. Fort Wilderness is enormous, so you can really be in an area where you have to take a golf cart to get to a lot of different things. We like being right there,
So we love the 900 loop. We've requested it 3 years in a row, and we have gotten great sites there 3 years in a row. So look at the map and see where you want to be and request it, even though you might not get it. I also say get a premium site.
Sure.
Okay, so tip 3. If you live far away and you can't tow your RV to Fort Wilderness, or you just don't want to tow your RV to Fort Wilderness because you live in Canada or you live somewhere on the West Coast, consider flying in and renting an RV from a service like Meacham's. We rented from Meacham's and we loved that experience. They dropped off a 37-foot travel trailer for us with a bunkhouse and they picked it up. It's about $200 a night for a larger RV. You know, it would be less for a smaller RV. And then our site was about $180 a night. So that's about $380 a night for an RV rental and a premium site, which is still a lot less than a lot of the hotel rooms.
Right. You're basically going to have a comparable price to some of the more budget hotel options, but you are staying in what's considered a Disney resort, and you are getting all of the amazing campground experiences. So this isn't about staying at the campground, may not be about saving money if you're not bringing your own RV. Right. It really is about the experience.
Yeah, I mean, the way to save money is if you live close enough, you bring your own RV, and then you're spending $150, $180 a night to be at Fort Wilderness. If you need to fly in, you're kind of spending a comparable price to a hotel room.
And that's okay for us. We would
Because
rather
we love the fort.
Right. We'd rather do that and stay at the campground.
All right, another tip number 4. If you live far away but you really want to do Fort Wilderness, they have wonderful cabins. These cabins sleep about 6 people. They actually say they sleep 6 people and an infant. The cabins are
in a drawer.
Again, you've got the dynamic. That's not Disney safe. So again, the cabins are going to be about $400 a night, which is roughly the price of a hotel room, but it puts you at the campground, and they're really lovely cabins spread throughout Fort Wilderness. So it's just another option to stay at the fort.
All right, tip number 5. Remember that if you're staying at the fort, you are staying at a Disney resort, and this means you get all the benefits of that, which
All
some
the
people
Disney
don't
perks.
realize. So this means that you can book your dining 180 days in advance, and you can book your fast passes 60 days in advance. That's a huge perk of staying on site at Disney. You don't lose it if you stay at Fort Wilderness.
A lot of people don't know Disney has a campground.
They don't.
And then they don't
understand.
realize
Yeah.
it is a full-fledged Disney resort, right? You have all the rights and privileges of anybody staying at the Contemporary, anybody staying at the Polynesian, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, tip number 6, ditch the car if you want to. If you're flying in, if you're renting, you really don't need to have a car on site. Staying at the campground also gets you access to all of Disney's transportation. The bus system, the boats, the tram, the rails, everything you can access from the campground.
And it works super smoothly. Maybe at peak times of the year there's some waits, but when we go, the public transportation works so well. The first year we went, we had a car, we didn't use it.
It didn't move out of the
Didn't
spot
move.
the
So
whole
the second
time.
and
Yeah.
third year, we took to the Disney Magical Express, and we just got there for free, and we used all the public transportation at Disney. It worked really, really well. Also, if you have a motorhome, you might not want to bring the dinghy with you because you don't really need it, okay? If you have a Class C or a Class A, go to Fort Wilderness, stay at Fort Wilderness, and then just use the Disney transportation.
Yeah, we actually one year even talked to a family that was Ubering out to Universal Studios for the day, right from on site at Disney. So if you do want to go off site to somewhere else in Orlando, you can always take an Uber if you don't have transportation as well. And that might be the case because our tip number 7 is to definitely use the Magical Express if you don't want to rent a car.
Free. It's free.
free.
Okay, so you
yes.
get transportation from the Orlando airport right to Disney for free. It worked really well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's like the fun starts when you step on the Magical Express.
They're playing the cartoons and the kids are all happy and everything. And then they pick you right up from the campground. We've taken the Magical Express to and from the campground back to the airport. They've picked us up from our campsite in the van, brought us up to the front, and we took the Magical Express.
We got in really, really late the one night.
Like 11:30
to the
at night.
reservation desk at Fort Wilderness. And one of the staff members actually then drove us out to our site. I mean, that's Disney customer service.
They're as nice at the campground at Fort Wilderness as they are at any of the other Disney properties.
They might be more nice.
If not nicer.
Tip number 8 is in bold, okay?
Why?
Because I think this is my top tip. I'm not
Okay.
sure if you agree. Schedule days just to hang out at Fort Wilderness. All right, you don't need to spend every day at the theme parks. In fact, our family burns out if we spend every day at theme parks.
Everybody's different. Everybody travels different. A lot of people go from sunrise to sunset and beyond at Disney. For us, the way that we have fun is that we don't overdo it and we don't get that Disney burnout that people talk about having
like
when
you
they
said,
come
everyone's
back.
different. Some families are like,
They
we're
love
in the
it.
parks every day,
Right.
and that's fine. I'm not criticizing that. But for us, we'll do like 2 days in the parks, and then on day 3, we'll stay the entire day at Fort Wilderness. The kids love the pool there. The kids love just to hang out up near the water at the playground. Sometimes we also just loop around on the golf court. There's all kinds of fun things to do when you're staying at the fort.
All right, number 9, speaking of fun things at the fort, you can take the boat, okay? This is a really cool campground feature. So at Fort Wilderness, they have these boats that you can take from the dock, and you can actually take them to the Magical Kingdom, and you can also take them to
Wilderness Lodge.
Wilderness Lodge, right? You could take it over to the Contemporary, where you can hop on the monorail.
It's kind of free entertainment is what we're saying. So if you want a relaxing day at the campground, you might just hop on the boat and loop around.
And go to different places.
And just
people like it.
go walk around at the Contemporary, which we did, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Go
lots
see
of
Chef
fun
Mickey
too.
for breakfast or something
Chef
like
Mickey
that.
was good stuff.
Chef Mickey. Yep.
Okay, so also tip number 10, you could do the same thing and just take a monorail ride. On the last time we went, the day we spent at Fort Wilderness, Stephanie said, you know what? I just want to hop on the monorail and go to the different resorts.
It's called resort hopping, honey. There's a
called
term
resort
for
hopping.
it.
Stephanie wanted to
it
go
wasn't
resort
like
hopping.
my original idea.
And what we knew that she wanted
People
was
do
that
it.
she wanted a Dole Whip at the
At
Polynesian,
yeah,
but that's another matter.
We were headed to the Polynesian.
But something like that was kind of low cost, borderline free, and really fun. And it just gave us that relaxing day away from the madness of the theme parks. Because even if you go during a time of year that's not super busy, the theme parks are intense, to say the least. Intensely fun, but still intense. Now, I cheated, and I kind of already gave tip number 11.
Okay.
We think you should at least for one day rent a golf cart at Fort Wilderness. If you've got the money, rent a golf cart the whole time. If you're on a budget, rent one for a day.
They're not that expensive. See, that's the thing is,
They're not that expensive.
Like we camp a lot, and honestly, the golf carts at Fort Wilderness are about the same price as they are at any other campground.
$40 a day.
There's not the Disney tax on it for some reason.
They're not trying to like cream you on those. It's really fun to go looping. That's the term. To rent a golf cart, drive all around Fort Wilderness. It's like, I call it the best RV show in the world because there's almost 1,000 sites at Fort Wilderness, and they're usually all full.
Everybody decorates
and not just during Christmas.
Right.
People do their Mickey decorations.
Yeah.
So you can see every type of RV on planet Earth, and it's just super relaxing to drive the golf cart around, maybe stop at Meadows Lodge, get an ice cream.
Right.
And it's a chill day. It's a recovery day. All right? Okay, tip number 12. We really think you should do the Hoop-Dee-Doo review. In fact, we've done the Hoop-Dee-Doo review 3 years in a row, all right? The boys love the food.
Maybe too many Hoop-Dee-Doos.
We love the fried chicken there. I mean, it's just like for Max and Theo and Wes and Dad, it's our favorite. We did it for your birthday one year because that's what
my birthday.
That's what you
wanted. It was for my birthday, yeah.
And it's a little expensive, but it's one of the best Fort Wilderness experiences because it takes place right up there at the settlement area at Fort Wilderness. So we often plan it for the first night we show up. We check into Fort Wilderness and then we head to the Hoop-Dee-Doo review. It's sort of a Americana comedy music Western show, and in fact, I got called out and embarrassed last year by one of the singers.
Some of
and
the highlights
she came
of your
over,
life, right?
She came over and mocked my singing. Actually, I was totally embarrassed.
All right. So now you do want to reserve that in advance, and it is something that you're going to have to pay in advance for. So plan with that with your budgeting.
Okay, tip number 13. We're almost done with our 14 tips. Trails End, okay, which is up at the settlement by the water, has really good breakfast and really good dinner.
Yeah,
the food
it's a
there,
buffet.
It's a buffet, which that makes Stephanie cringe sometimes.
Normally.
But this is a buffet that she actually likes.
I can get behind this
and
buffet.
the boys love this buffet.
Yeah.
The food is really good. You prefer breakfast.
The breakfast is amazing. They just have everything you could possibly want. The eggs, the omelets. It's just really good.
Could be another good thing to do on your first night. So say you're not going to the Hoop-Dee-Doo because that comes with dinner. You might just settle into your site and go have dinner at Trails End. It'd be a magical way to start your Fort Wilderness vacation.
This isn't on our tip, so I'll add it here. Right where the Trails End is right next to the beach, which you can actually see the fireworks that are going off in the Magic Kingdom every night. So what you can do is have dinner, go to the beach, watch the fireworks, and it's a nice little evening for you.
The last thing I want to leave everybody with, Fort Wilderness is a magical place. To me, it's equally magical to the Magic Kingdom or Epcot. I like spending time at Fort Wilderness just as much as I like spending time at the theme parks. So make sure that that's part of your Disney trip. Okay, it's not just the place you come back to go to bed at night. It's a place you plan on spending some time.
Yeah, so and you'll go back again and again and again because you'll get hooked even if you swore you hated Disney.
Here's the problem too. If you go once, that's fine. If you go twice, then your kids start to expect it. If you go 2 years in a row, you could create a monster.
We've kind of created that
monster.
A Disney
so
monster.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Stephanie.
And you can find us at the RV Atlas podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts. Join our friendly Facebook group. It's the RV Atlas group. We're the RV Atlas on regular Facebook. We're at Jeremy and Stephanie on Instagram. And also, throw us a like if you enjoyed this video and it was helpful. Subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or comments to make about Fort Wilderness, drop them below and one of us will answer your questions. So thanks for spending some time with us. We'll
see you at the campground.
See you at the campground.